We're back!
Hello, YouTube.
New episode, new week.
Super speedy episode this time. I'm going to show you one of my catalyst exercises. I say it's my exercise. I've kind of stolen this from a girl on the Slovenian team. She was at one of the Vauxhall centres. I said, I'll give you a beat on this climb if you tell me what does the Slovenian team do to get so good. And she was saying they do a lot of climbing, just missing out different limbs. Having now tried it myself, I've realized it's super beneficial for improving dynamic movement skills. Because you're constantly off balance, you just have to use momentum all the time to catch up and to make the body positions work. So here is how the exercise works. Very straightforward. Go on,
Wait
question.
a sec. Would this exercise be good for anybody of any level?
This is good for any level. What I like about it is you're essentially learning to do complicated, coordinated dynamic moves, similar to the stuff you'd see on hard comp problems, but you don't need to find hard comp problems to practice this stuff. As I'm about to demonstrate, you can pick, I'm going to do it on a V1 or 2, and I've got plenty to challenge myself on. I'm just going to talk about how the exercise works, and then we'll talk about how you can make it harder, easier, what the different options are. Sound good? So, I pick a climb. I've aimed for one that I think I'm going to have to try a couple of times. Like I might fall off a couple of times trying this exercise, but that's the right sort of level. I want to challenge myself a bit. I'm aiming to complete the climb 4 times. Each time I do it, I'm going to miss a different limb. So I'll do it once without using my right hand. I'll do it once without using my left hand. I'll do it once without my right foot. And a final time without my left foot. Sounds all right? Away we go. I'll try it, and then I'll explain afterwards what sort of difficulty you should do it at, how you modify the difficulty, that sort of thing. Sound good? And then if you've got any questions, Andy, you just ask away.
Gotcha.
Cool. Let's go for, well, I've talked on my right hand, so let's go for right hand only first.
Right hand only.
And then I can match with both hands.
And down climb.
Yeah, and down climb with all hands. Cool.
Okay, so when I'm just watching you,
Yeah.
you're swinging around a lot.
Yeah.
So this is, you're purposely, forcing your body to go into...
Well, if you're missing a limb, obviously if it's a slight overhang, as soon as you let go, you either fall off or you have to catch the next body position. It's not necessary on this climb, obviously. Normally I just use both hands, but by missing a limb, you're off balance every time you try and move, and you constantly have to predict what the next body position will be and try and land the feet there. It'll be different when we miss a foot. Generally, I've found on a slight overhang, maybe this is obvious, but it's much, much harder if you're missing a hand. Not that much harder missing a foot. Still tricky, but not that bad. And vice versa, if you try this exercise on a slab, missing a hand doesn't feel that bad. Missing a foot feels super awkward. But we'll go and find that out later.
Do you think this exercise would help someone like me who needs to work on momentum?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what the exercise is for. To be clear, folks, the skill of dynamic movement in climbing is obviously useful for the parkour style boulders you see in competitions, and this exercise can be really helpful with that. But if you're not that fussed about dynamic parkour style climbing, that doesn't mean this exercise isn't helpful. You would be really surprised, even on like what people would call basic, classic, old school climbing, just how useful a good control of momentum can be. You're constantly just softening your impact on holds by a careful use of momentum and not relying as much on contact strength, or just reducing your strength output a little bit because instead of pulling and locking, you're just flowing with just the right amount of momentum. So this exercise, even if you're not interested in parkour boulders, still really useful to practice. It will have benefits to hard, old school style climbing. I've talked on my left hand, so let's go. I'm going to go straight up. Ooh, no, I'm not. Yes, I am. Okay, 2 out of 4. That one out of 3. So now I'm missing a foot. Interesting one I found with this, more obvious on slabs, it will probably be okay on overhangs, but if you have 2 handholds and your foot directly beneath you, easy to balance. As soon as you try and like move a hand up or jump your foot out to the side onto the next foothold, you're immediately massively off balance. So you very often, when you're missing a foot, have to jump the foot and catch a handhold at the same time. Interesting stuff. But I'll try it now. Yeah, not that bad on an overhang. We'll try on a slab after.
Okay, so you were missing a foot.
Yeah.
And I could see how you're still bouncing around a lot.
Yeah.
I think if I was doing this problem, maybe we'll get someone else to try it too. But
well, you should try it, and I'll hold the camera.
I'll try. Okay, I'll try it after. But I think instinctively I would try and lock off with every arm.
So that does work. If you then try it on a hard enough climb, well, it takes a bit of work to calibrate the exercise. Either you can do it at this level and you are able to lock it off, but it feels really hard and really awkward and you slam into the wall and it's not comfortable. You gradually are like guided by how awkward it feels using strength to start trying to hop between the positions. Main advice that I'd give for this exercise is try and picture the next body position that you know you can balance in, and don't just focus on getting the next hand hold or getting the next foot hold. Focus on landing in that next body position, and then everything's good. Make sense? Yeah. So either you could try it on this level of climb, and you can use strength to make it work, but it just doesn't feel that nice, and you naturally want to start using a bit more momentum to make it feel a bit smoother. Or if you calibrate the exercise right, there isn't a way of just using strength to get through it. This one, there is. Like, I feel like I could lock each of those positions. For me, this climb works nicely for a demo, but possibly a little bit easy. So, okay, Andy, you try this one with the exercise.
Yeah.
And then why don't we go and look for another one, which is a bit more challenging.
Okay.
Yeah? Cool.
Andy's gonna do it.
Right hand only. Here we go.
Here we go. Nice.
This is weird, Louis.
Finish it off. Go on, go on. Yeah, man. Very nice. Boo! He didn't match.
Okay, I'll match the next time.
Okay, cool.
So that felt weird already.
Yeah.
I really have to think about each movement, and this is a really easy problem.
Yeah, exactly. On if you're doing it on a slight overhang, if you're doing one hand only, I don't think you have an option of doing anything statically, because you're on an overhang. You can't pull in, lock off, and then just grab the next one. You'll fall.
Yeah.
So you have to use a bit of momentum just to do each of those moves. Hey, match this time. There we go. It's going so fast. Nice. Yeah.
That was a really cool exercise.
Yeah, I know. Nice and simple, right?
Yeah. I can feel myself thinking about the momentum stuff, like already.
Well, should we develop this a little bit further? Because I've got some other stuff to talk
Take
about.
it to the
This.
next level, yeah.
Do it. Okay,
Let's
so
go.
If you want to use this exercise, I'd advise doing it after you've done a few really easy climbs. You should do this before you're completely warmed up and onto the hardest climbs, but not the first thing you do. So I would probably do 10 super easy climbs, and then I'll do this exercise, 15 minutes. Then I'm fully warmed up and I get onto the harder climbs, having practiced a bit of dynamic movement. Pick 3 different climbs. You're aiming to do each one 4 times, once with a different limb missing each time. In terms of the difficulty, you're aiming, as I said earlier, for it to be challenging, but not like a nightmare to do. I would say this one is actually a little bit easy for both me and for Andy. You're kind of aiming that you might fall off, not on every different limb that you try, but you might fall off a couple of times and then maybe get it. Just to keep you from using your whole 15 minutes on one climb, I'd say 3 attempts max at each of the different missing limbs. Now, in terms of modifying the difficulty, there are 3 options. You can either, very, very obviously, just change the grade of the climb. Obviously, if you try it on a harder climb, it will be harder. Next option would be changing the angle of wall. If you do it on an overhang with a missing hand, it's really hard. If you do it on a slab with a missing limb, with a missing leg, it's hard as well. You can choose what sort of angle to do, but I'd say don't go for too slabby, don't go for too overhanging, especially if you're warming up. Doing it on a really steep overhang with one hand, it's hard on your skin at the minimum. Final option for modifying the difficulty, the exercise can have 3 different setups to make it harder or easier. Level 1 of difficulty, I think if you're doing it at this level, you're better off just picking a different climb to make it easier, rather than sticking to this level. But if you want to, you can do the missing limb is allowed to touch the wall, but it's not allowed to touch any holds. I think that's a bit too easy for most people though. So next level of difficulty would be, you're not allowed to touch anything with the limb, but you can swing it around for momentum. That's a good one to do. And then final option, to make it pretty difficult, you tuck the limb away and you don't move it at all. That's tricky. So I thought I've spotted a climb which I think I'm going to have to work on a little bit. I think this one will be the right sort of difficulty. So let's go and have a look at it. First I'll do it without any limbs missing and just show this is how I do the climb normally. Then I'll have 3 attempts missing a different limb each time. Sounds good. Cool.
Okay.
So
This wall is
a bit slabby.
just a little
But that
bit
was nice and
slimy.
straightforward with 2 hands.
Yeah.
So my prediction is this is going to be not that much harder to do it with left hand only. I think it's going to be really hard to do it with right hand only because all of the holds are facing to the left, and it's also going to be really awkward with missing feet as well. But let's give it a go. 3 attempts max each one. I'm going to go left hand only first, so I think that's going to be the easiest one. And then we'll see how we go. That was going well until the foot slipped. Attempt number 1.
Nicely done.
I think that's the easy one. So now these are going to be harder.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that was exciting.
That foot swing up was amazing.
That was exciting, that one. Okay, so now with missing feet, this is about the right level. I'm doing better than I thought. I always thought I was going to fall off a few times doing this. I'm in the zone, so it's going all right. Okay, yeah, this is awkward. Oh, yeah, that's harder. I think I should have jumped the foot and gone with the hand at the same time, and then possibly hopped again onto the volume. But there's a lot of precision, a lot of training of precision with this exercise, because you're like jumping onto small footholds.
Like you said, these like slab type routes would be a lot harder for your feet.
Yeah, this is much harder
When
with
you're
missing feet
eliminating
than
a
missing
foot.
hands. Yeah. Oh, I know what I need to do, and I just can't make myself do it. Which is I should, as I'm jumping with that foot, I should be going again with the hands to catch the next one.
Yeah.
It's scary. Oh! I shouldn't, but I'm gonna have one more go. That was 3 attempts, so I should stop and move on. But that's gonna work, and that's gonna be really cool. Oh! Okay. Attempt number 3.
Yeah, right. Okay, you got it. Well done.
Cool, you have to come up with
Persistence.
weird moves to do it. No, what do you mean persistence? That was 3 goes.
So this is interesting because this is a V2, but you've just turned what is essentially a really easy warm up
Yeah.
for you into something quite challenging.
That's the aim of a lot of the Catalyst exercises, is to repurpose easy climbs that you'd normally not pay that much attention to, and find ways of making them really interesting and still learning stuff from them. For example, as you say, yeah, V2 boulder, which I can just walk up without thinking much about it, now becomes really interesting, really hard practice. Right, okay, last one. It's gonna be the same move again. Oh! I was trying so hard not to touch the wall with my right leg.
I really thought you'd be able to just like kick your left foot up to that next chip instead of.
Put that one there.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let's not count this as an attempt. That's what I thought about doing,
Yeah.
but I'll demonstrate what happens if I try that. So let's say I get here, and yeah, as Andy's suggesting, just jump the left foot straight up. But, oh god! Annoyingly, it works. But I prefer the other way. Damn it, Andy! You're and your smarts. I didn't want it to work either. We're going to do the palm down method because it's much more fun.
All right. Well
Alright.
done.
Okay.
Louis, is there a name for this type of exercise? Have you named it?
No, I was trying to think of a name. And either we've got the exercise I stole from the Slovenian team,
That's one.
or we've got, oh, someone suggested power climbing training, because if you hadn't noticed, the power climbing team would obviously have to do this stuff all the time. Look closely, and they're like so good at using momentum. Matthew Phillips, he's on the GB team. In fact, I think he's won the World Championships twice in a row now. I consider myself to be pretty good at using momentum. He came over to Vox West once, did one of the permaset climbs, and if you don't know Matthew Phillips, his right arm is missing up to there. So the last move, he does this, I've got it on video, this huge like hip flick and just lunges for the finish with one hand. I live at Vox West, and I've tried that move so many times, and no, I can't do it. I haven't yet done it. I haven't done it yet.
So, I think that's a pretty good name. But if anybody else has any suggestions for the name,
give
just
us a
comment
name. Let me
below.
know. That's it. That wraps up the exercise. Any questions? Comment below, and I'll get back to you about it, probably. Or even better, just email us at Catalyst Climbing. We do online training plans. We do memberships with unlimited access to group classes, and we do private coaching whenever suits you best. So yeah, get in touch. I feel like I've plugged enough now.
No, you haven't. You haven't plugged enough.
Okay.
CatalystClimbing.com.
Andy's on the training plan. He crushes V13 every day now. He just doesn't post it on videos. Did I ruin the plug?
Oh god, my dreams of V13.
You enjoyed the exercise?
If you like the training technique type video, let us know. Go check out CatalystClimbing.com, and that's it.
Yeah. See you later, YouTube.
Bye.